Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Hourglass Show. And today we're going to talk about the Rajasthan Royals.
Let's take a look at the full squad of the Rajasthan Royals. The first thing we're going to look at is the Indian batsmen. Now, Rajasthan Royals has always been a team that has had very strong Indian players, rather very talented Indian players, but somehow they haven't been able to fire in the tournament. And I'm talking about Sanju Samson, who's had a couple of good IPL seasons, but he hasn't really been there. He hasn't been the impact player that Rajasthan Royals were looking for. Uh, what they've done this time is they've brought in some experience. They've brought in experience in the form of Robin Uthappa, who will be an integral part of this lineup, especially in the middle order. There is Manan Vora, but again, that creates some dilemma whether he will play at the top order or in the middle order. Um, okay, moving on. The overseas players of Rajasthan Royals. If you look at the names, these are all big match players. Steve Smith, Joss Butler. They've brought in David Miller. There's Jofra Archer, AJ Tye, O'Shane Thomas. There is Ben Stokes and Tom Curran. Now, this is great on paper, but obviously you can only play four of these guys. Now, the issue with the bowling lineup of the Rajasthan Royals is that they don't have an experienced Indian seamer out there. Obviously, no disregard to Varun Aaron or Jaydev Unadkat, but you get what I'm saying, right? You need someone who can give you that experience so that you can play the other foreign players, in other departments. You can play an all-rounder or two, or you could even play an extra batsman. So that's always been a problem with the Rajasthan Royals. And I think this year too, they've kind of created that problem for themselves. So that's pretty much about the bowling department. Or rather, I've missed out the spin department here, and this is very interesting. I'm going to take some names here. Rahul Tewatia, they brought him from Delhi Capitals. Mayank Markande has come in from the Mumbai Indians. There is a certain Shreyas Gopal in this lineup. Now, what's common about these three guys? What's common is they're all leg spinners, right arm leg spinners. And guess what? They've given off Krishnappa Gautam, who was a right arm off spinner. So they've created a balance in such a way that they've got three leg spinners, and Riyan Parag is also a middle order batsman who also bowls leg spin. Now, the thing about leg spin is that it goes away from the right hander. Now, there is another spinner in the lineup who is an all rounder, Mahipal Lomror, who's a left arm, slow left arm orthodox. That again goes away from the right hander. So I'm not really sure about what kind of balance they wanted to create. Um, Again, I'm pretty sure the selection committee, the team management has certain plans, but it just doesn't fall in place. This kind of a plan doesn't fall in place. They've given off Krishnappa Gautam and got in another leg spinner. So that's pretty much it for the Rajasthan Royals. Now let's move on to the hourglass starting 11 of the Rajasthan Royals. Now we've thought a lot about this 11, and the first thought that comes to our mind is the availability of Ben Stokes at the start of the tournament. For those who are not aware, he had pulled out of the Australia England series, and he may not be available at the start of the tournament. Hence, you see a David Miller sitting out there. Ben Stokes obviously would have provided better balance with the ball. But let's start taking a look at the lineup. We have Joss Butler and Sanju Samson opening the innings. No doubt about these two. I think fantastic players. Yes, you could have Sanju Samson batting at three. Maybe have Yashasvi Jaiswal coming up, but that's only when Ben Stokes is available. In his absence, David Miller does not give you any bowling. So that's the reason why we had to go with this kind of a lineup. Number three, Steve Smith, the captain. Number four, we are extremely excited to see Robin Uthappa and what kind of role he plays for the Rajasthan Royals. And in our opinion, he is going to play a very important role. He's going to anchor the innings in most of the matches. Then you have David Miller, followed by Riyan Parag at number six. As I mentioned earlier, Riyan Parag also gives you a bit of leg spin. Then there is Shreyas Gopal. He's been a phenomenal player for Rajasthan Royals. He comes in handy with the bat, and he can give you some very economical overs. Mahipal Lomror, he's an exciting player. He's a very young player, very talented. He is also a slow left arm orthodox, so we are interested in seeing what he does for Rajasthan Royals. In the seam department, there is Jofra Archer. He has to be there in the team. Obviously, there are other options too. You have O'Shane Thomas, AJ Tai. AJ Tai has had a couple of good IPLs, and he's got a couple of very good slower deliveries, and other deliveries as well. So he's an interesting guy. But I think Jofra Archer with his raw pace goes ahead of those two. And same goes with Tom Curran as well. Ankit Rajput over Varun Aaron, because again, Varun Aaron is more pace than Ankit Rajput, and you already have a pacer in Jofra Archer, someone who can give you express pace. So we thought Ankit Rajput can bring in more variety in the team. And Jaydev Unadkat at number 11, he's the vice captain of the team, for those unaware. And he is obviously the left arm seamer that you're looking for. A lot of money has been paid for him, so I think it's about time that he gets going and he has a big season. So we are also excited to see what he does in this season. That's the 11 for Rajasthan Royals.